All species remember the day. Deathworlders stopped being kind. It was a day etched into the memory of every living creature across the galaxy, a cataclysmic turning point that reshaped alliances, forged new legends, and darkened the very fabric of the universe. Before that day, the Deathworlders were known, paradoxically, as the reluctant guardians of balance, ferocious in battle yet bound by a code of honor that forbade needless cruelty. Their homeworld was a relentless crucible of survival, a place where only the strongest thrived amid poisonous storms, ravenous beasts, and a landscape that sought to devour any who dared settle. Yet, despite their brutal upbringing, Deathworlders maintained a reputation for an uneasy kind of mercy. They would fight fiercely to protect their own and enforce justice, but they spared their enemies when surrender was granted. They healed the weak among their fallen foes, and they upheld ancient treaties with other species, even those who had once tried to annihilate them. But the day when everything changed began with a whisper, a rumor that spread like wildfire through the interstellar communication networks and across diplomatic channels, warning that the Deathworlders had been pushed to their breaking point. The catalyst was a devastating betrayal by one of the oldest allied races, the Thalkrin, whose diplomats were accused of conspiring with a rival empire to steal a sacred artifact from the Deathworlders' most hallowed temple. The artifact, known as the Heartstone, was said to contain the life essence of the planet itself, a source of immense power and spiritual significance. The theft was not only a violation of trust, but a direct assault on the Deathworlders' identity and survival. When the Deathworlders discovered the treachery, their response was swift and merciless. The leaders convened in the great hall carved from living crystal, where the ancient elders debated fiercely before reaching a unanimous verdict. The old codes of honor must be shattered, for mercy had become a weakness that invited destruction. From that moment onward, the Deathworlders declared a war unlike any the galaxy had ever witnessed, one of total annihilation. They unleashed their full wrath on the Thalkrin and their allies, deploying fleets of biomechanical warships that tore through space like shooting stars of death, while ground forces, genetically enhanced and clad in armor, fused with the very elements of their homeworld, razed cities and exterminated entire populations without hesitation. The battlefields became scenes of unparalleled horror. Where once mercy might have saved a life, now only silence followed. Witnesses from every species recount the terrifying transformation of the Deathworlders' warriors. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly fire, their movements became cruel and deliberate, and their voices, once calm and measured, now carried the chilling cadence of relentless vengeance. Entire civilizations that had once coexisted peacefully with the Deathworlders were caught in the crossfire, or punished for perceived complicity, leading to alliances fracturing and wars igniting across star systems. Scholars and historians later debated whether this brutal shift was born purely from anger and betrayal, or if the Deathworlders had, in fact, always harbored a latent ferocity, waiting for the perfect storm to break free. Some even whispered that the Heartstone's loss unleashed a darker force within them, something ancient and malevolent that had slept beneath their world for millennia, now awakened to consume everything in its path. Across the galaxy, species that once admired the Deathworlders' resilience and discipline now told tales of caution, stories passed from elder to youth, recounting how the proud protectors became ruthless executioners. Refugees fled devastated planets carrying the memory of a kindness that had been snuffed out like a dying flame. The day the Deathworlders stopped being kind was more than a moment of vengeance. It marked the end of an era, the birth of a legend steeped in fear and respect, and a reminder to all that even the strongest warriors could be pushed beyond mercy's edge. Yet amid the destruction, a few whispered of hope, of a time when the Heartstone might be recovered, the old codes restored, and the Deathworlders' mercy rekindled. Until then, every species, no matter how small or mighty, remembered that day, not just as history, but as a living shadow in the fabric of their lives. After the Deathworlders unleashed their merciless fury upon the galaxy, the aftermath rippled through every corner of space like a dark storm cloud blotting out the stars. Their once revered name became synonymous with dread, and entire species who had once traded peacefully with them now fortified their borders and reevaluated alliances, knowing that the fragile peace was shattered beyond repair. The Great Galactic Council, a centuries-old body designed to maintain interspecies harmony, convened urgently, but even their combined influence faltered against the sheer power and wrath of the Deathworlders. Attempts at negotiation were met with cold, unyielding silence or outright aggression, as the Deathworlders declared a new doctrine of survival through strength, abandoning diplomacy and embracing total war as the only path forward. Meanwhile, within the devastated heart of the Deathworlders' homeworld, a secret faction of elders and scholars refused to accept this grim transformation as permanent. They believed the loss of the Heartstone had corrupted their people's spirit and sought to retrieve it, hoping to restore balance and the ancient merciful codes. This faction, known as the Keepers of the Light, operated in the shadows, recruiting brave souls from other species willing to risk death or worse for the chance to rekindle peace. Among these was Kale, a young Thalkrin diplomat whose family had been annihilated in the initial Deathworlder onslaught, yet who held no hatred, only a fierce determination to mend the wounds. Kale's journey led him to forbidden ruins, lost star systems, and dangerous alliances with bounty hunters and mystics, all in search of clues to the Heartstone's location and the truth behind its theft. Meanwhile, the Deathworlders themselves were not a monolith. While the majority marched forward as warriors of destruction, others quietly questioned the path chosen by their leaders, haunted by memories of mercy and the haunting emptiness left by endless killing. In hidden enclaves, some warriors wrestled with their conscience, torn between loyalty and the hope of redemption. These internal conflicts birthed a fragile underground resistance, communicating through cryptic symbols and coded transmissions, aiming to one day reclaim their people's lost honor. Across the galaxy, alliances shifted rapidly. Former enemies banded together to form coalitions of defense, sharing technology and knowledge to withstand the Deathworlders' relentless campaigns. Some species adapted by evolving biologically or technologically, creating weapons and shields specifically designed to counter Deathworlder tactics. Yet, even as the galaxy hardened itself against this new threat, a quiet question persisted: was the Deathworlders' wrath infinite, or was there a way to heal the fracture? Stories spread of strange phenomena near the ruins of the Deathworlders' temple, flashes of light, whispers on the wind, and visions experienced by those sensitive to the spiritual currents of the universe. Mystics and shamans from distant worlds traveled secretly to these sites, seeking signs of the Heartstone's power and hoping to intervene before the galaxy was consumed by endless war. The Keepers of the Light worked tirelessly to unite these disparate forces, organizing secret councils that transcended species boundaries, fostering trust in the shadow of fear. Their efforts were perilous, as Deathworlder spies infiltrated their ranks, hunting down traitors with brutal efficiency. Despite these dangers, a fragile hope emerged, the belief that even the darkest night could give way to dawn, that the Deathworlders' lost kindness might one day be restored through courage, unity, and the rediscovery of what was stolen. As this epic struggle unfolded, legends grew, tales of heroes who defied the tide of destruction, of ancient relics with powers beyond comprehension, and of the Heartstone itself, a beacon that could either heal or doom the universe. Yet, through all the chaos and bloodshed, one truth remained clear to all species. None could forget the day the Deathworlders stopped being kind, for it marked the beginning of a new epoch, a test of resilience and faith that would define the fate of countless worlds for generations to come.